Hello everyone, today I came with a new topic which is addition of two vectors. But before that, if you did not see my first video, please go to YouTube and search vector 1 by physics, then easily you will be able to get the video. So let's start the topic, which is the addition of two vectors, means how to add the two vectors. When two vectors is given, how to add them. Before that, we have learned about the vector. If I say this is the vector A, this is the representation of that vector. This arrow, it is called this arrow represents the direction and the length represents the magnitude. So this is called the head and this part is called the tail. That we read. And we read about the parallel shifting also, means we can draw this vector like this also. In vector chapter, parallel shifting is allowed. Okay. Now, if I ask the question, add 2 plus 3, then obviously you will give the answer, that is 5. But if I ask add 2 vector and 3 vector, okay, then what will be the answer? That the answer will be different, because this is vector addition, this is the scalar addition. That's why this vector addition, it is different than the scalar addition. But there is some process how to add the vectors. So one by one I will come. First method is the head-tail method. See, here if we say add these two vectors, it is A vector, this vector is B and this vector is A. Okay, so add these two vectors. So first I have told in this chapter the parallel shifting is allowed, so we can draw this vector like this also. And by parallel shifting, I am drawing the vector B like this. Okay, parallel shifting. So this is A vector, this is B vector. Now, how to find the resultant? See, to find the resultant, I will apply here the head-tail method. What is head-tail method? To find the resultant, draw one vector from tail of first vector to head of second vector. Okay, then this vector will give the resultant of these two vectors. This is represented by R, means this R vector we can write A plus B. Okay, this R vector is represented the addition of these two vectors. Okay, clear? Now one example I am giving. Suppose you think about a boy is moving towards east, that is north, south, east and west by 3 meters. And after that he takes turn and he is moving towards north. Okay, and the name I am giving OB, OA, and this is B, and by 2 meters. He moves towards north by 2 meters. Okay. Now, what the question is, what will be the displacement of these two vectors? Means find the net displacement. How to find? Means this is the resultant of these two vectors we have to find. Means the definition we know, the distance between final point and the initial and final point. So by vector addition we can apply, see, to find the resultant, head-tail method, from the tail of the first to the head of the second. So this will give the resultant vector of these two vectors. Resultant of these two vectors. So we can write this R vector equals to 2 vector plus 3 vector. Okay. Now, what will be the magnitude of that resultant vector? Means the displacement. Magnitude of the displacement. How much? See, this angle will be obviously 90 degrees, so we can apply the Pythagoras theorem over here. So that OB square equals to OA square plus OAB square, AB square. Now OA square how much? 9 plus AB square how much? 4. So this is 13. So OB will come root over 13. See, these are OB, OA and AB, these are the magnitude. And we know this length represents the magnitude and the direction, because of this vector quantity, it has a direction. Okay. This is also, this length represents the magnitude. So here this length how much? This root 13. But we have seen in normal scalar addition, this 3 plus 2 comes always 5. But in vector addition, this is coming different. Okay. So this vector addition, it is different than the scalar addition. But that is always true. That r vector equals to, if I give a and b, this r vector equals to a plus b, that always correct. Okay. You can ask, what is the concept of resultant? One example I am giving. Suppose you think about one boat. Okay. And two person is applying the force. One person is applying the force along this direction and another person is applying the force along this direction. Suppose this is P, this is Q. But in which direction the boat will move? Either this direction or this direction. No, the boat will move along this direction. That is called the resultant. This is vector, this is vector. This vector along which the boat is moving, that vector is called the resultant vector. Means here we can write this r vector equals to p vector plus q vector. Okay. This r is giving the resultant of these two vectors. Okay. In addition, it follows the commutative law. What is the commutative law? Means a plus b equals to b plus a. How? See, if we take two vectors a and b, so the resultant will be r equals to a plus b. Okay. Now see, what I told, parallel shifting of the vector, we can do it. So I am shifting the vector parallelly. See, I am writing this vector a over here. So from here to here, this is vector a. Now I am shifting this b vector over here. So this will give the b vector. Okay. Now which one will be the resultant? The tail of the first vector. Now this is first, this is second, to the head of the second vector. Now this is r. This r we can write, this is b plus a. Okay. Who is completing? Actually this is forming a triangle. So this r vector is completing the triangle. That's why this is the resultant. So r equals to b plus a. So one time we are getting r equals to a plus b, and by parallel shifting we can write this equals to b plus a. So this vector addition follows the commutative law also. We get the addition of two vectors. If three vectors are given, then see, if the vectors is given, this is a vector and another vector is given, suppose this is b vector, and one more vector is given, 3 or 4 whatever, b vector, and this is given like this, c vector. How to add them? See, by parallel shifting. Here I am drawing this vector over here, a, and by parallel shifting I am drawing the vector b like this, and here this by parallel shifting I am drawing the vector like this, c. So what I told, the resultant to Heckel method, apply it from the tail of the first to the head of the second. This r will give the resultant of the vector a plus b plus c. Clear? Now I have given the 4 vectors like this. How to add them? See how I am adding. This is a vector, b vector, c and d vector. What will be the resultant? Look, this is the b vector, okay, and a vector I am shifting it parallelly like this. This is a, this is b. So the resultant will be from the first to the second. This is r. Suppose r1 vector will be a plus b. So resultant of these two vectors we got like this, means this is the resultant r1 only, resultant of these two vectors. So the remaining part is the c vector and the d vector. Okay. Now see, this r1 vector equals to a plus b. I am shifting the c vector over here. So the diagram will be like this. This is r vector, r1 vector, and by shifting this c, this will be like this. So by joining from tail to head, this will be r2, which will be r1, means a plus b. Okay. So a plus b means here a plus b plus c. Clear? Now the remaining part is which one? This is d vector left. So I am drawing this vector over here. Okay, wait. Now we got the resultant of a, b and c, this one. This is the resultant, which is r2, and the vector left, which is d. Okay. By parallel shifting we can draw the vector over here also. So parallelly I am shifting it and I have drawn the vector like this. So obviously this will be the resultant. So this is R I am writing, which will be R2 plus B vector, and R2 means which one? So R will be R2. R2 means A plus B plus C plus D. This is how we can add 2, 3, 4 or whatever. This is the addition of 3 or 4 vectors. Clear? With it, when the two vectors, suppose A and B, that two vectors are making angle 90 degree, then easily we can find out the value and the magnitude also. When this R vector equals to A vector plus B vector, that we can write. And we can find out the value also by applying the Pythagoras theorem. But the problem will arise if A vector or if the B vector makes an angle or some angle except 90 degree with A, then how to find the resultant? Not resultant, how to find the magnitude. Resultant always we can write R equals to A plus B, that is correct. But how to find the magnitude? That's why you have to learn the triangle law of vector addition and the parallelogram law of vector addition. First, let's come to the triangle law. Okay, I discussed one of the most important topic of the vector, which is the triangle law of the vector addition. What is the law? The statement is, if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by the two sides of the triangle taken in the same order, then their resultant is represented by the third side of the triangle taken in the opposite order. What is the meaning? See, if two vectors, suppose A vector and B vector, which is represented the two sides of the vector which you have to take in same order, means anti-clockwise, then the third vector means this R vector, which you have to take in the opposite order, means clockwise. See, now this R is clockwise and this A and B is anti-clockwise. So this R vector, which will be the resultant of these two vectors, means here we can write this R equals to A plus B. Okay, this is the triangle law of vector addition. But how to find the magnitude of the resultant? Let's see. Here, before that, I want to say how to calculate the angle between two vectors. If you did not see the first video, there I have explained it. Again, I am telling it. See, if the vector is given A and B vectors, they are given, and here you look, tail to head are connected, and the angle is given, suppose 120 degree. What will be the angle between A and B? 120 degree? No. What will be the angle? The angle will be 60. How? See, to measure the angle, first you check tail to tail or head to head is connected or not. So, when tail to tail or head to is connected, then we will measure that angle. But here, head to tails are connected. So, parallel shifting is possible. I am drawing this vector like this. Now see, tail to tail is connected, so this angle will be 60. 180 minus 120, 60. So the angle between A and B will be 60 degree. Clear? This is how you have to measure the angle. Now, to find out the value of the magnitude of the resultant, again I am drawing this diagram. See what I am doing. This is A vector and this is B vector. This is the resultant. C vector I am giving, or R. Okay, R I am giving. This is R equals to that value, magnitude I will find over here. Now I am increasing it and draw the normal from this point. Give the name N, and this is P, Q, and okay, O, P, Q, and R. Okay. Now look, this is 90 degree. So P, N and R, it will form a triangle, means right angle triangle. From here we can write that from P, N and R, that P R square, we can apply the Pythagoras theorem over here. P R square equals to P N square plus N R square. Clear? Now P N square we can write P Q plus Q N. P Q plus Q N. Before that, we considered the angle between them was theta. Okay, so whole square plus nr square. So pq square plus qn square plus 2 pq into qn plus n r square. Up to this clear? See, this q, n and r, this is also right angle triangle. So q n square plus n r square, this will give the q r square. Clear? So we can write this q n square and n r square, q n square and n r square, which is the hypotenuse square, which is q r. So p q square plus q r square plus 2 p q into q n. Up to this clear? Take the triangle q, n and r. So from this triangle we can write that cos theta equals to base by hypotenuse, base is qn divided by hypotenuse means qr. Qr means which is b. That I am calculating the magnitude. Remember this one, calculate the magnitude. Only b you have to take. So here we can write that qn divided by b. Clear? So put the value over here. Find out the value of qn equals to b cos theta. Okay. Again come over here. Now put it pr square. See, pr square means this is r. R square I am writing. I am finding the value of magnitude only. So r square I am writing. PQ. PQ means a square plus QR square. QR means this is b square plus 2 into PQ. 2 into PQ means 2 into a into qn. Value of qn is b twice ab cos theta. So this value we can write this r equals to root over a square plus b square plus twice ab cos theta, where theta is the angle between a and b, angle between two vectors. Okay, this is how we can find out the magnitude of the resultant vector. That's why you have to study the triangle law of vector addition and the parallelogram law also. Now I will show how to find the, see, this r is a vector quantity obviously. This vector quantity has a magnitude and the direction. This magnitude we got, but what about the direction? To find out the direction, suppose you consider this r is making alpha with a vector. So by this triangle p, n and r, we can write that tan alpha equals to height by base. Height is nr divided by base pn. Pn I am writing over here pq plus qn. So pq plus qn, and value of qn we know, which is b cos theta. Okay. Now nr equals to, we found this is b sin theta divided by pq. Pq means a divided plus qn. Qn means this is b cos theta. So this is the value of tan alpha over here. This will give the resultant of direction of the resultant vector. So this is how we can find out the magnitude and the direction also. Clear? Another method we will learn, which is the parallelogram law of vector addition, by which we can find out the resultant vector of the two vectors. Okay. So before that, you remember here join two vectors from tail to tail, means the two vectors will be given. When you are applying the parallelogram law, then check tail to tail are connected or not. Okay. Statement is, if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides of the parallelogram drawn from a point, then the resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram drawn from the same point. Means if two vectors are represented, the two sides of the parallelogram, then obviously it is giving the magnitude and direction. Then the resultant drawn from the common point, this is the common point. So the resultant will be, means the diagonal will be, if we complete the parallelogram like this, then the diagonal of this parallelogram represents the resultant. Means here we can write this r vector equals to a vector plus b vector. But the question will be how to find the magnitude of the resultant. So that same process I will apply over here, means that process of the, which I have applied in the triangle law. The same process you will do it over here. Find out the resultant vector, I will apply the same method of the triangle law. How? See, if these two vectors A and B, which represents the two sides of the parallelogram, then the perpendicular, not perpendicular, the diagonal drawn from the common point will give the resultant. So complete the triangle first. Okay. Then this R represents the resultant of A and B. Okay. The resultant, I will apply the same method. See, increase it and draw the normal. This is N, this is A, suppose O, A and B. Now, which angle will be theta? Which angle? See here, these two angle between two vectors, if we consider theta, then we can say this angle between two vectors is theta because tail to tail is connected. So this angle between them is theta and this R is making alpha with A. So as this is theta, so we can say, we can shift the V vector parallelly like this. Means this will give the V vector also. Otherwise, in parallelogram, two sides will be equal. So we can say this is B vector. Means AB also, this AB also B vector. And OA will be A vector. As the angle between A and B is theta, so we can say this angle will also be theta. And this is normal, means 90 degree. Now see, this is the same diagram as the triangle law. So apply the same principle and same derivation. Then the resultant will come R square equals to A square plus B square plus twice AB cos theta, and the tan alpha equals to, when the direction for the resultant, that will be B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. See, that derivation we got from the triangle law. Otherwise, here also you can derive it, no problem, but same derivation will be there. Okay. So we got the resultant, means the magnitude of the resultant and the direction also. Relation of the magnitude we know, R equals to, or R square equals to, I am writing that A square plus B square plus twice AB cos theta. Okay. So the question is, some case 1 I am writing, when this R means resultant of the vectors will be maximum. See, that value will get, the maximum value will get when this theta will be 0. When this theta, because the value of cos theta we know, cos 0 will be 1. So when that theta will be 0, means when theta equals to 0, we will get R square equals to A square plus B square plus twice AB, because cos 0 equals to 1. So from here we can write this is A plus B whole square, means R equals to A plus B. So when one thing you said, when theta equals to 0, means angle between them, angle between two vectors will be 0, means they are parallel. They are parallel vectors. So when they two vectors are parallel, or when two vectors are represented in same direction, then the resultant will give the maximum value. Okay. Now, what is the direction of the resultant vector? See, we get that tan alpha equals to B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. So when theta equals to 0, sin theta will be 0, sin 0 will be 0. That's why 0 divided by A plus B cos theta, cos 0 1, so A plus B, which is 0. Means when tan alpha equals to 0, we got alpha equals to 0. Alpha means the angle between resultant and A. So the resultant is making angle 0, means it is also parallel with the vectors given. So this is also parallel with the vectors. Okay. The resultant of the two vectors will be minimum. See, in previous case what I told, the value of cos theta is maximum when the value is plus 1. So that plus 1 comes when theta equals to 0. Okay, that we did. But case 2, when the resultant is minimum, the minimum value of cos theta, which is minus 1, and that time the theta will be 180. So apply the relation R square equals to A square plus B square plus twice AB cos theta, and it will come twice AB cos 180, means cos pi, which is minus 1. That you know, cos 180 equals to minus 1. Okay. So it will come A square plus B square minus twice AB, which is A minus B whole square, means R equals to A minus B. Means the minimum value we will get when the theta equals to 180. What is the meaning of 180 means they are directing in opposite direction. The direction is opposite. If this is A vector, this is B vector, then the direction is opposite. That's why the theta came over here 180 degree. Okay. In that case, we will get the minimum value of the resultant vector. Okay. So one conclusion I can give over here, this resultant vector cannot be less than A minus B or cannot be greater than A plus B. Are you getting my point? See, maximum value how much we got? A plus max, R max equals to how much we got? A plus B, and R minimum equals to how much we got? A minus B. So you can see the resultant vector cannot be less than A minus B and cannot be greater than A plus B. Okay. So today's class up to this. I hope everything is clear, or if you have any doubt, please send it through the comment box, and those who did not subscribe, please subscribe the channel to get the more update. Thank you.